Why is spending so difficult in retirement? You know, I talk about this a lot on my show, how people retire, they save their whole life, they accumulate assets, and then when they have to spend it or decumulate, they freeze up. They panic, they don't do it. And you might be saying, you watching this saying, oh, that's not me. When I already spent my retirement money, or I'm not going to have any problem spending. You will. You will. I want to stress that this happens so frequently that it's one of the things I bring up in early meetings with my clients is how are we going to prevent you from not spending your money? And people look at me like, what? I'm going to spend my money. Nope. No, you won't. Tony Shore is here. Tony, thanks for joining me. I've talked about this before. In fact, we've done a show on how people struggle to spend. But today, what I want to do is talk about why and maybe get to how they can fix the problem, if it is a problem. But do you think that people have trouble spending their money? Do you have relatives that are sitting on cash and aren't spending?
I do. So that somewhat proves your point right there, Dan. However, over the years, I've met and worked with and have listened to a lot of financial advisors, people like yourself, and almost to a person, they all say the opposite, and they always get on their shows. I listen to other financial radio shows to see what people are talking about, and they all say, hey, you don't blow all your money right away. You've got to save. You can't be irresponsible with your money. So they're really saying the opposite. But when I look at factual what's going on out there, I have a relative, and I'm not going to say who it is, but they have way more money than they'll ever spend because they're in their late 80s, right? And you can't take it with you, right? But they are constantly talking about how they can't afford, I can't spend this on my grandkids. I can't do this because I'm not going to have enough money. I don't have enough money. My financial advisor tells me I've got to hang on to my money. I'm going to need it for long-term care, right? That's what I see happening a lot. So it happened with I will name my grandfather, Grandpa Bob. He was always tight with money, though. It didn't really, it just carried on into retirement, but
that's what happens.
He never spent money.
They grow up this way, tight, or you save. You got to make that switch.
Depression era people especially have a problem with it, and a lot of the baby boomers who are retiring.
Yes. So I put on here, baby boomers don't have pensions. They're the first generation some of them do, obviously, but I'm saying, generally speaking, baby boomers don't have pensions. Right. So they're the first with the 401k that are now having to spend it. They take Social Security early, mostly, right? Majority take it before their full retirement age.
Yep.
Certainly not waiting until 70 for a majority. Right. I think it's less than 10% of people, right? And they don't buy income annuities. They don't buy these things that pay them to replace their pension. They just don't do it, generally speaking.
Right.
So the question is why? Why?
Yeah,
now,
why?
I'm going to reference this study it's called Helping People Make Wise Decisions for Retirement Income out of UCLA. So there's a link for those that are watching on YouTube. Yep. And they list 5 reasons, and it's behavioral differences. Why are these retirees facing these what are these behavioral barriers, right? But before we get into these 5, I want to build on what you started, and I want to throw the financial services industry under the bus, because I agree with you. A lot of why retirees aren't spending their nest egg is because of the fear factor that and maybe it's not financial advisors. A lot of financial advisors trying to get people to be smart about not running out, right? We just did the show on not running out of money, people fearing it. Watch that. But I think financial advisors generally are selling something. They got some sort of product, or they want to manage the funds, the mutual fund. They want you to keep your money invested with them because they make money off of that. And this idea of pulling down or drawing down your assets is not exciting to a financial person, because A, you might run out and they have to manage that, which is not easy. So they have to do their job. And B, they get less money because as you draw down and spend, it's less money they're managing. So they have 2 reasons to not really get you to spend your money. And it's a whole lot easier for me to say, don't spend your money, because then I don't have to worry about you running out.
Right.
But who's happy in that scenario besides the
Right.
advisor?
Right. But
I'd rather have happy clients.
right. And they're ignoring the fact that when we reach a certain age, we can't do certain things. I can't take my grandkids to Disney when I'm 85 and can't move around. Right. I
And your
can't.
grandkids are in their
Disney.
20s
Yeah.
because they're not
Disney
going to want to go
World.
to Disney in their 20s, right?
Yeah,
Like,
right. I mean, and the second thing is, number one is, we have you hear talk about the go-go years of retirement, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. You can't use that money in the no-go years except for healthcare, and if you run out of money, healthcare will be provided. Number one, and the other reason that I say I agree with you is because you can't take it with you, and so you can leave money to your children. I get that. You want to be fiscally responsible. I get that. But why don't you enjoy your retirement? That's my thing.
yes.
And that's why I
Well,
agree with you to some extent on this.
and I want to go over these 5 reasons. But
Yeah.
generally speaking, I would love for my clients to be older and all they have is Social Security. Oh my God, I can't live on Social Security. Yes, you can. You can live on Social Security alone. You could do it. And you will. You will, because you'll have spent all your other money up front doing the things you want to do while you're young and healthy. And then you'll have time to reflect on that and you'll still have Social Security. People fear that, again, I'm not going to go that. Let's just talk about why people struggle so much, these 5 things. Okay.
Sure.
So the first one is self-control or lack thereof. You might be saying to yourself, I know I should claim Social Security late because I saw that, the guy told me to. Dan said wait till 70 in my case, but I just can't do it. I can't stomach it. This is very common. People just can't do it. They can't not grab the marshmallow in the marshmallow test. They can't delay. They have a plan, but they can't stick to it. All right, I'm going to spend $10,000 a year in the first 5 years on vacations, and then they just can't do it. Why didn't you spend it? Oh, I don't know. I'm nervous about long-term care.
Yeah.
Self-control. So big one. Now that's easy to say. Oh, people don't have self-control, but it's really what it comes down to.
Right.
So that's one of the 5 that they and this is biggie. The second one, actually, before we go on, how do you solve the self-control? Because this is what I get.
Yeah.
I know you're going to ask me, what am I going to do?
Right.
I have no self-control. Is that it? I'm just doomed? No.
Yeah. What's the solution to that problem?
Automate different things. Like for people that are saving for retirement, automate it in their paycheck. But for people that are in retirement, automate the spending. Have distributions come into your checking account, whether you like it or not. Set it, because once it's in your checking account, you'll be more likely to spend it than if it's sitting in your 401k or wherever.
Oh, that's a good solution. I would say another solution to the self-control problem, because self-control, what you're really talking about, the problem isn't just self-control, it's emotions. We let our emotions dictate or fear. And to remove that fear or our own self issues, work with a financial advisor like yourself, and you're going to remove that element. You take out the emotional element. Have you say, here's what you can spend the first year. If a professional is telling you, yes, you can spend this, that's going to help as well. That's what I find.
Yes. No, you're right. Having a plan allows you to say, oh, well, that's the plan. Sticking to it, self-control is difficult. If you don't even have a plan, then you're always going to have the unknown. You're going to be fearful and you're going to freeze up. But if you have a plan, then at least you could say, all right, what is the self-control? And I say automate the plan, but you need a plan first. You're right.
Yeah, but
just,
getting those deposits to come in on a regular basis, whether you think, oh man, I don't know if I want to spend that. If a certain amount hits your account each month in your checking, then you're more like, rather than have it set off in everything stay in that money market account, which is, or your stocks account, your stocks, your investments, you want to earn that compounding interest. That's great. But you also, in retirement, it's not about saving as much as it's about income. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, Netflix. You have a subscription to Netflix. If you had to write a check every month, you'd be like, do I really want this? I haven't watched the movie in 3 months.
Yeah, exactly.
But if it's automatic out of your your credit card, you're not even paying attention, and it's easy, right?
Subscriptions, right? Yeah.
Right. So reverse it. Give yourself a subscription and income. All right. Temporal discounting. Uh-oh. Tony's eyes are glazing over.
No, it sounds like something from a Star Trek episode.
It does.
We
Beam
got
me up.
Gene Roddenberry there all of a sudden. A temporal disturbance. I know temporal from
Twilight Zone,
Star Trek. Yeah.
Yeah, Star Trek. All right. Well, here's what someone with temporal discounting might say. This money helps me today. Right now, getting Social Security right now helps me today because I got bills. I like it. I like having that money in my hands.
Yeah.
Why would I wait until the future? Why? Right? They value short-term versus delayed gratification. So again, this is a tale as old as time. People really struggle with delayed gratification, but they hyper focus on the now that they forget retirement's supposed to be a long term. Now, it's good to spend now, but that's not what people do. They'd rather have the money in their hand than kick the can down the road per se.
Sure. And a lot of people think they're going to pass. That may be coming later, but yeah.
Right. And so the solution to this is to start early. To start early in retirement, excuse me, or leading up to retirement, so that you have a plan. So before you retire, before you hit 62, which is the earliest most people can claim Social Security, know when you're going to claim. Don't think, all right, I'm 62, I can claim now. Now I'll do it. It's when you're 60, say, all right, I think I'm going to wait until this, and here's the plan. Start planning this early so that you're not just hit with all these decisions and you're like immediately, ooh, free money, right? All right, third one out of 5, loss aversion. People just don't like to lose. So people might be saying, well, what if I die early? Then all that money's gone when it comes to buying an annuity or a pension.
Right.
Should you take the pension or the lump sum? Well, I'd rather take the lump sum because then I have it. And then if I die, my kids will get it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the math says, no, take the pension. Take the pension, because over time it's going to help you tremendously. And here's why. People don't like losing. They don't like this idea that, well, if I die, like Social Security, well, if I don't take it now and then if I die, the kids get, all that money's gone. I didn't get mine. Very, very common. And I see it. It makes sense. People don't like to lose. Mm-hmm. Losing is 2.5 times more visceral. You feel it more than winning.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, but what do you do about that? I mean, I hear a lot. I think that's a lot of people's attitudes. I've even thought about that. Well, when I get to that age, should I take Social Security early? Because, my health, I'm not going to be around that long. I hear that from so many people. Yeah. Is there a solution to that, or?
There is. So, when it comes to Social Security, we did a show on why delaying Social Security and spending down your other assets probably makes sense. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? I'm gonna be spending my 401k down and then turn on Social Security. I know it makes sense on paper, but I'm losing that. I'm losing my 401k. It's painful. People see their accounts go down when they're used to seeing it go up. You just have to have a very solid plan. But what I would also say is, when it comes to creating a pension, creating an income stream from an annuity, people, no one likes annuities, right? It's the F word of financial planning.
Sure.
The annuities, if you get an annuity with some sort of return of premium feature or some sort of death benefit, that's a lot more palatable for people than just giving the insurance company money and getting it back over time. If you get it back over time, but there's also a death benefit in case you die early, people, that's something that can outweigh the loss aversion, or at least help, knowing that the kids get something.
Yeah, that helps.
Or that your wife or spouse gets something. That's the solution to the loss aversion, is having some sort of death benefit or backup for them.
Safety net for the kids. Yeah.
Okay, fourth reason why people struggle so much to spend is fairness. Now, this was in the study, and it was like, oh, what does that mean? And basically it says, if you don't think it's a fair deal, you're not going to do it. But if you're not sure if it's a fair deal or not, then you won't do it either.
Right.
So you might be saying, well, I don't really know if that makes financial sense. Like, yeah, I see the Social Security people saying delay. My aunt's telling me to take it early. I'm not sure. So I'm just not going to go. I'm just going to do it early. If you're
It's
not
kind of the
100%
default. That's why
sure,
the
right?
majority of the people out there take Social Security early, because that's the if you're not sure, why risk it? Take it now, so at least you'll get
Right.
that. But you're
Right.
locking in a really low amount, which we've talked about the problems that can cause. I would say the
Right.
solution to this one is work with a financial professional. So you're making you're not if you're not sure, go to somebody who is an expert or at least a specialist in this area or has done this a lot. You deal with Social Security a lot for your clients and the people you work with, and
Right.
for our listeners out there.
Right. And when we're talking about spending money, it's like, well, you could buy this, you could take Social Security late. Oh, I don't know. You could buy this annuity for a portion of your income, and then you'll have this other income and seeing all that. I don't know. I don't know. But you're right. If you're trying to do it in the back of your head, it's not going to work. You're never
Right.
going to be certain about it. You're never going to know if it's a fair deal.
Right.
So the answer, like you said, is get someone that knows what they're talking about and do the math. Show the math. Actually look at the numbers, put it on paper and say, here's why it makes sense. Here's why it's fair. Because if you think about it, Tony, if we die at the life expectancy that Social Security puts on it, it doesn't matter when you claim Social Security. Take it early, take it late. If you die at 82 as a man, if you take Social Security at 62 or 70, it doesn't matter. The math all works out, right? This idea of a break even that's what's kind of tripping people up. They focus so much on the break even that they miss all the bigger picture moving parts. Does it seem fair? And a lot of people say, well, I want to have the same amount of money when I'm 90 as I do when I'm 62. And like you said, do it while you're young. It's tough.
Yeah, it's hard.
I think doing the math, though, you're right. If you can show the numbers. And okay, last one, psychological ownership. Okay, here's what they will say. If I buy an income annuity, because I don't have a pension, and we got the 401ks, we're supposed to save that and then turn it into income. The best way to create a guaranteed income stream is an annuity, which is pension, which is Social Security, right? They're all annuities. If I buy an income annuity, I don't control it anymore. I've given control of my asset, my 401k that I worked my whole life for and saved for. I give it up to this insurance company who are evil, and I have no more control. No way am I doing that. No way. Why would I do that? I'd rather put it under my pillow and take money out as I need it, because at least I have ownership. That's the problem. People love this ownership. They love having control, and they feel that generating income in retirement or taking money out and spending it, they no longer have it over here. It's not up here, this big number. They don't have it anymore. I want $1 million. And how many of my clients have 950,000 and they're like, oh, I just need that extra 50. Why?
Right.
I want to see it. Well, you're going to spend it down in a year anyway. Well,
Right.
no, I won't. Wait, what? I can't just generate the income I need off of that, and I want that $1 million there. I want that ownership. Very, very difficult to overcome this psychological ownership. People love this control. The solution to it, though, is to take small bites. Do little bits. Okay, you have $1 million. We need to generate income. Everyone understands that. What if we took 10% of it? Let's take 100,000 and turn that into an income stream over here, and take another 100,000 and turn that into an income stream over here. Little bits, and you're building up. And so you still have control over a big portion, but you're giving up, maybe not even giving up control. Maybe you're buying a bond portfolio that's giving you, but it's over there. You can't touch it for 5 years or something like that.
Yeah, you're giving up a little liquidity in the short term.
Yes,
but yeah,
you're giving up some control. And the only way to do that is not all of it. All right, here, take it all and give it. Some people like that. They're like, here, you figure it out. I don't care. But for most people, it's, I don't want to give up control. They don't. So they want that ownership. They want to. The only way to do that is take small bites. And then eventually you'll see, oh, this is nice. I like this. And
What's the
So
best
those are
way
the
to eat
5.
an elephant?
One bite at a time.
There you
Yes.
go. Yeah.
But I don't eat elephants.
Oldie
I
but a
stick to
goodie.
manatees in
Oh
Florida.
no, it's terrible. I love the manatees. You can't manatees.
Oh,
Yeah.
just kidding, folks. Okay, conclusion.
Oh, the humanity.
The the struggle is real. People struggle to decumulate. They really do. We've done shows, countless discussions on this, and understanding these behavioral biases is the key. Is the way to do it. Make these small adjustments. Automate. Start small. Do a little bit at a time. Do the math. Know what's happening. You should be able to get over that hump. But just know this: you're not alone. Most people really struggle with it, but it's normal and it's real. And when you're a saver your whole life, spending it just is so difficult. But there's way. There is a solution. There is light at the end of the tunnel.
That's good to know. And I think it's also our listeners now know that my pet manatee's name is Hugh. So that's humanity.
That's a
and
good one,
Dan, you're
Tony.
not going to eat him.
I wish I had my little rim shot. Oh, I do. All right, Tony. Thanks for another good show.
Dan!
If you're still listening, and that means you enjoyed this show and you made it this far, the last step for you is to hit the subscribe button. There's a little bell and you'll get an update as to when our next show is. Maybe we'll come up with a new topic with some new jokes. Tony, thanks for a great show. We'll catch everyone next week.
All matters discussed in today's show are for informational purposes only.
This show is not investment advice.
Dan Riddle nor Dolphin Financial Group are affiliated or endorsed by any government agency.
Investment advisory services are offered through Dolphin Wealth Management, Inc., a registered investment advisor in the state of Florida.
Insurance products and services are offered through Dolphin Insurance, Inc.
Dolphin Wealth Management, Inc. and Dolphin Insurance, Inc. are affiliated companies doing businesses as Dolphin Financial Group.
You should talk to someone at Dolphin Financial Group before implementing any of these strategies or ideas.